Holy smokes everyone, we have just got the latest inflation data and boy, it's not good. In today's video, I'm going to break down the latest CPI data, show you what's happening, and then we're also going to go over if it's going to get better or if it's going to get worse in the future. Because people, there's also some crazy manipulation going on with this data, and also I'm going to go over the devastating effect this is having on the average American. So everyone, let's not waste any time, let's get straight into it. So look at this everyone, inflation rises 7% over the past year. This is the highest increase since 1982. This is absolutely crazy everyone, 7%. Now most people may not really understand how bad this really is, but do you know what Albert Einstein said is the eighth wonder of the world? Compound interest. Those that understand it earn it, and those that don't pay it. Now with prices going up 7% per year, that means in 10 years everything you're paying is going to double. Your energy prices are going to double, your rent will double, your food costs will double. But I'll get into later in the video how your wages won't keep up with this, and this is going to mean the standard of living is going to get worse and worse for the average American. And I find it funny here how they say, well, if you exclude food and fuel and housing, well, the CPI, the inflation rate is not that bad. Last time I checked, that's all the basic essentials you need to survive. But look how manipulated this is. Look what they're saying is going on with housing costs. Shelter costs, which make up nearly 1/3 of the total, rose by 0.4% for the month, and they're saying it's just up 4.1% for the year. I don't know about you everyone, but I think shelter and housing costs are going up much faster than 4% per year. We're seeing house prices are up 18% in most areas. We're seeing rents are up anywhere between 10, 15, 20% depending on the location, especially in areas like Las Vegas and Phoenix. But what you're probably wanting to know is what was the biggest gainer? What prices went up the most in the inflation data? Look at this, used vehicles, they continue to skyrocket. They've gone up another 3.5% in December, and they're up 37% over the year. So everyone, we shouldn't invest in stocks anymore. We got to start collecting used vehicles. Now, you know what I thought was very interesting was the day before this inflation data came out, they revised the number down to 7%, just the day before the data came out. And what happened to the data? It hit 7% on the dot. So I just find this a bit strange. And what would have happened if it was over 7%, we would have seen a sell-off in the markets, because then that means inflation would have been worse than the estimates. But of course they revised it the day before to make sure it wasn't. It sounds like manipulation to me everyone, but what do you think? But you know what really grinds my gears is the Federal Reserve should have acted 6 months ago. The damage has already been done. So even if the rate of prices going up starts to slow to say 4-5%, that doesn't mean inflation's going down. It just means the rate of which prices are going up are slowing. But all your rent costs, your food costs, your fuel costs, they're still going to be at record levels. But the Federal Reserve will say, look, inflation's down, when really the cost for you and me is not. Now, like I've been talking about for a while now, the biggest scam I keep hearing with the inflation is, well, inflation is good because then that means your wages go up. Well, look what's happening to wages now, everyone. Look at this. Despite higher wages, inflation gave the average worker a 2.4% pay cut last year. And how that works, everyone, is because wages only went up 4.6%, but inflation is at 7%. So you are losing, and this has always been the case, everyone. The real reason they need inflation to be high, not so you can get a pay rise, is because the government needs to increase their tax revenue because they can't repay the debt at these current levels. So once inflation goes up, well then that means you go into a higher tax bracket and means you have to pay more tax. Also what it does to the US government debt is it devalues the debt. And what it does for the wealthy and the 1% is it increases all of their assets. But unfortunately, most of the poor and middle class have no assets at all, so they do not benefit. Now, this can only go on for so long, people, because we're starting to see the wealth gap in America get to levels where things aren't going to be good in a couple of years if we keep going down this route. Look what's happening in Turkey, in Kazakhstan, in Argentina, in Lebanon. But of course, it would never happen here, right? You're probably wanting to know is this the worst of it? Will it get better? Well, what have they been saying? This is all because of supply chain issues and things will get better. The supply chains are literally on the brink right now, everyone. Look at this. Omicron pushes Hong Kong import supply chains to the brink of collapse. And look at this. New York port hit with rare vessel congestion amid labor shortages. And we're continuing to see a record number of ships are stuck at LA ports. But do you want to know what the biggest tragedy of this is, everyone? And, you know, I really hope things wouldn't get this bad. But, unfortunately, it has. KFC is running low on chicken. This is just unacceptable, everyone. Now, Jerome Powell recently spoke at a Senate banking committee, and he assured the markets, and I think this is why the markets are pretty tame right now, is he said, don't worry, we're going to be able to lift interest rates, we'll get inflation under control, and the economy won't be hit at all. But again, it is too little, too late, and I don't know what they're waiting for. Right now, they're still doing quantitative easing. They're still buying US treasuries and mortgage-backed securities. What they should have done is they should have stopped immediately. They should have started lifting interest rates immediately, and they should have started selling off the assets immediately. What they're doing is they're dragging their feet. They're jawboning the market. They're talking. They're doing lots of talk, but no action. And what I think they're doing is they're hoping by the time they actually start lifting interest rates in March or April, that inflation will be down and then they'll reverse course. But in all seriousness, everyone, this inflation is absolutely devastating and it's absolutely demolishing the poor and the middle class. And they can't keep affording to pay these high increases. And we're really seeing the standard of living in most major economies, not just the US, like Australia, Canada, etc., going down rapidly. And this is something they really have to address, because eventually people will say enough is enough. Once they lose everything and they've got nothing to lose, people are going to hit the streets and demand change. But everyone, that was just a quick update with what's going on with inflation, with what's going on with the CPI data. Do you believe these inflation rates? Let me know. Now, for all my loyal viewers and subscribers still watching, you're awesome. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.